Hello. You're right. I don't know if anyone can hear me. Oh no! But I don't know if my microphone works. I'm on. I'm on. Hey, hello, Dawn. How are you? Can you hear me? Uh, I don't know if my microphone. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. That's good news. Oh wow! Great to see everybody. Everybody, this is my first live stream. I'm a little bit shy here, so that's brilliant. It's brilliant. You can actually hear me. Uh, yeah, I guess everybody knows that Jamie was taken down. His channel was taken down, and well, you know that he got his channel up again, but he tried to go live, and they've stopped him again. Yes, that's right, Jamie. Boris has totally, utterly fucking betrayed us, the fucking bastard! Excuse my French, everybody, but today is an infamous day in history when our Prime Minister, supposedly conservative, has gone over to the Chicoms, the Chinese fucking communists, and the globalists. And I will share with you today, I'm so sorry for being angry and everything, but there is nothing, I've never felt so angry. And I'm going to share with you, because I can't get two things on my screen at the same time, what Boris Johnson tweeted today on his Twitter account, congratulating Joe Biden so he's congratulating Joe Biden for his presidency. Can you believe it? So I'm going to read to you what Johnson said today. Listen to this, people. You're going to hold on to your chair, right? And hold on to your chair. Congratulations to Joe Biden on his election as president of the United States, and to Kamala Harris on her historic achievement. The US is our most important ally, and I look forward to working closely together on our shared priorities, from climate change to trade and security. Boris fucking Johnson, Prime Minister, at 5:49 p.m. this evening. Can you believe that? Can you actually believe this? Right? That our Prime Minister, now, if we didn't know better, we would think that our Prime Minister is thick, stupid for jumping the gun and congratulating Joe Biden on a victory that is not even secure, right? No, can't be asked. Biden is not going to royally shaft us, because Biden is not going to be the president of the United States of America, right? It's not going to happen, right? Because Trump is going to take the bastard down. He's going to take them all down. He's going to take the whole Democrat Party down. Now, what I would suggest to everybody is to go over to Right Side Broadcasting and watch the video of today's press conference where Rudy Giuliani outlined the strategy that the Trump team has to litigate and expose all the fraud that is taking place. There's endless fraud. It's basically so obvious, so provable. They've got witnesses galore, and they're going to take this to the courts, and certainly in Pennsylvania and other states. I've got a bad memory. I can't remember it all, but trust me, go to Right Side Broadcasting. You will see today's press conference, right? So no, Biden is not going to be the president. He's not going to royally shaft us, right? So it's not going to happen. So basically, so that's what I suggest everybody does. But now the question is this: is Boris Johnson thick? Is he stupid, right? To put out a tweet congratulating Joe Biden on a victory that is not even official, right? That's what we might think, right? But of course, no, Boris is not thick. As Dawn, as you point out, he's a globalist. And well, the issue of whether he will screw us over Brexit, well, we'll come to that in a moment. But the fact is this, that we know, and through Jamie's experiences, seeing what's been going on in the Dominic Cummings Zoom meetings, which he's shared with you, and we've discovered that Dominic Cummings is a con man and a mind-molding not piss artist, but he's a mind-molding so-and-so, right? And he's basically been taking us all for a ride. We've been taking all this information from him. And of course, some of the information he's been giving us is real information, but it's the spin that he puts on it to try to create a loyal group of people. And we've busted him. Yes, okay, so of course, Dominic Cummings is also known. Well, it's not secret knowledge. You can find it out on the internet. Mason Mills. Mason Mills is Dominic Cummings' pseudonym, or whatever you want to call it, also known as AKA. Go and search Mason Mills on the internet, and you will find a discussion about whether he's Dominic Cummings or not. And yes, we've had encounters with someone called Sonny Flowers, who befriended me on the internet and actually told me that she groomed me. I was groomed by Sonny Flowers. Oh my God, I'm a victim. I was groomed by Sonny Flowers, and she introduced me to this monster named Dominic Cummings in his secret room where he's abusing old age pensioners, right? And he's making them loyal to him, and then he's using people like us, particularly people like Jamie, who's communicating people to put the spin, right, that he's trying to put out, right? So this is what we've discovered. And so Sonny Flowers, we believe that she's a paid operative. We don't actually know, but people are being bought off on Mason Mills, also known as Dominic Cummings' special room that you have to be a special person to belong to. People are being paid off. He's buying people's loyalty, right? You know, we'll buy you things. If you need something, we've got £1 million in our fund, right? And then you can, we'll help you out. Yes, that's right. He's in Boris is in the Chinese pocket, so he had no other option. Well, yes, yes, this is true. I mean, we don't know the detail. When did Boris turn? Has he always been on the payroll? Has he always been? We don't really know. Um, so yes, the love of money is the root of all evil. It says somewhere in the Bible, Canterbury Bell, and that's absolutely true. So at the end of the day, the globalists have got our prime minister one way or another. Either he was a gleeful volunteer, or they got him, and we believe that he was got at through the fallen Eve from the Old Testament, the book of Genesis. But this fallen Eve's name is Carrie Simmons. They planted her into the conservative offices. I don't know the detail. Jamie can tell you better. Unfortunately, I'm not Jamie. I'm not as up on all of these things, but he's got the lowdown on it all. And she's wrapped herself around his neck like the serpent used Eve to wrap around the neck of Adam and squeeze the life out of him and castrate him and turn him into the servant of the serpent. And they all became, under the thumb of the god of this world. So yeah, and as Jamie is pointing out here, we know who the traitors are. We know who the faithful are. We know who the 20 MPs who voted against the lockdown. We know who they are, including IDS, Ian Duncan Smith. He voted against it, and a bunch of others. And we know who voted for it, including Jacob Rees-Mogg, Mark Francois, Steve Baker. They are all in on it. So they've all been got at one way or another, either through the globalists or they've been offered, sweeties by Boris Johnson, peerships or whatever you call them. They've all been bought out. They've all been suckered in. They've all been blackmailed. God knows what. It's a swamp. The swamp, as Trump says, the swamp is deeper than he even ever imagined. So this is what we're dealing with. But the solution has to be Trump's victory, because if we don't get Trump's victory, we end up with Biden. Biden has said that he puts the EU over the UK. Yeah, they'll have a relationship with us, but it's the EU first and the UK second. So, and not to mention his love of the IRA, as we've seen, him photographed with the IRA. So this is not good news, people. This is not good news. But of course, yes, Dawn, Trump is the only one defying the globalists, and he's certainly not given up. This election corruption story is just going to get bigger and bigger. Giuliano brought down the mafia in New York. This is nothing for him. He's going to go for these bastards. He's going to bring the lot of them down. I don't know what's going to happen to the election. It's a complete mess. It's a complete and total mess. I mean, you've got all the corruption, but then you've got the dodgy computer programs as well. So yeah. So yes, as Jamie's saying, that we've heard that Boris is going to retire after January, and we're going to be taken over by Michael Gove and Dominic Cummings. Dominic Cummings the eugenicist. We have been told on good information. So, the eugenicist, the computer geek, and this is why he loves all these programs and this testing and all of this nonsense. They've locked Liverpool down, and the Liverpool's gonna be the first victims, and they're going to be coming for us afterwards. Apparently, though, people in Liverpool are queuing up to be tested. I mean, what are people thinking? So in Germany today, I forget which city, massive anti-lockdown demonstrations, absolutely huge. So in Europe they're rising up, but for some reason in Britain we've just become I don't know what. Yes, Cummings is the English Bill Gates. Yeah, absolutely. Chi-coms have got to Putin. This thing about Putin stepping down, I don't know if that's fake news or not. The Kremlin put out a statement that he's not stepping down. That was fake news. Well, I don't know which one is the fake news. Is that Kremlin fake news or fake news? Who knows? Everything seems to be fake these days. You don't know what to really believe. So, patriotic twins, Russia will be very worried now. Yes, they will be very worried now. But fear not. Fear not. Trump's not backing down. As you can see, if you go and watch right side broadcasting, absolutely right side broadcasting are the best broadcasting on the internet now for Trump things. They did fantastic. They showed the rallies. They were brilliant with the rallies. They seem to be following what's going on now, and they've got the press conference, and Giuliani is on the case, and this is not going away. Just because Biden says he's won doesn't mean he has won. Just because the media in America says he's won doesn't mean he has won, because the state electoral I forget what you call them, the electoral bodies, they don't give out a final result till the 13th anyway, most of them, because they have to count the last ballots that come in. These are from military ballots that come in, and there's no official figure until that time. So there's no actual official result. Normally what happens is it's pretty clear who's the winner, even by the night of the election. And so one of them declares and the other concedes. But now the whole thing is a mess. So one of them's declared and the other one is definitely not conceding. And the declaration is just, they said, well, in fact, Trump's declared that he's won, and Biden has declared that he's won. The media have declared that Biden's won, but it's meaningless. It's complete meaningless. So they're trying to create the impression and get everyone to swallow the idea. Right, you've met lots of Trump supporters, but no Biden supporters, and yet Biden wins. Exactly. Trump's had more votes than any president since God knows when, and still he's supposed to have lost. So that's basically what's going on. You just have to keep watching the space. What else? I don't really have anything much prepared. I'm not Jamie, I'm afraid. And Jamie he gave me a smack over the head on the phone. He said, I can't do anything. You've got to go live. so yeah, so I'm live. I'm not prepared. I don't have a lot to talk about. So yeah, anyone's got anything to say, anything they want to say, anything they want to bring up that we can talk about. Tell them about the stories I was going with, Dan. Oh, okay. Jamie's getting his laptop out. Oh, thanks, thanks, Dawn. I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, thanks, Jesus. I believe in you. I believe in you. Yes, definitely believe in you now, Jesus. Oh yes, so on my channel, Chemical Liquor, you did you go and see Sean Moon's? I took an extract from his sermon asking, "Is Boris Johnson part of the 666 satanic power base or something along those lines?" Yeah, so Sean Moon called out Boris before we did, or at least before we did officially. I think by that time Jamie had sussed them out. StreamYard to go live. Steve, Jamie, mate, you should use StreamYard to go live. Okay. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, so listen, Jamie, what have you got to say? We can talk about it, because I have got nothing else really prepared. Supreme Court, the highest probably corrupted court, but the proof will stand out. All will be revealed. Well, Giuliani is going to put together a solid case that you're not going to be able to argue against. And now the Supreme Court does have a conservative majority on it, which should help. What do you, are they trying once again to suspend? I see. Yes, Subri. Yes, Subri has reared her devil head. That's true. But I don't think anyone's listening to Subri anymore. I think we've got to the point where, the main point with Brexit is now we're out of the treaties. We're out of the single market. We're out of the customs union and the control of the ECJ. These are really the key and most important things. Boris will do a fudge on certain things, and Farage has said that he would, but Farage has said that we're not going to get better, really. And Farage has been slamming Boris on immigration. He's been slamming Boris now on the lockdown, but he's not had a go at him over Brexit. So at the moment, Farage is our bellwether, and he hasn't kind of rung any alarm bells so far. There will be a fudge over the fishing. There's no doubt about that. But here's the point. If we have a proper right-wing government, right? And this is the thing. Farage is going to come in. He's going to contest. He's going to test seats. He's going to target the soft Tories, the globalist Tories, particularly up north, right? And the Northerners, they must be fed up by now of the Tories. And Farage is going to go for them. He's going to go for Wales as well. The Labour government there, people must be fed up of that by now. He's going to head for that. The other very, very important thing is Farage is going to contest elections for police commissioners, police crime commissioners, right? Police crime commissioners are the ones that control policing priorities and policies in a particular area. This is what people don't realize, that the government doesn't control all the police forces directly. Police crime commissioners are elected. And of course, the left have moved in on that over the years. And this is why we've got a left-wing police force. So Farage is going to be going for this. Yeah, okay, that's right. Boris is allowed to let us leave the EU to keep Brexiteers on board, but he will bankrupt Britain with the Paris climate change deal and the lockdown. Brexit is being portrayed by the Conservatives. So, yeah, so this is the point. The Chinese Communist Party, they released the virus because Trump brought them down. Trump, with the trade war, he said, no more. We're not going to have the Chinese controlling us, destroying our economy. The Chinese were in trouble. They released the virus, right, upon the world. And the whole point is to bring, if the Chinese can't raise their economy and overtake us with their economy, they want to bring us down to their level. This is the whole point. So the point is to destroy our economy. The Chinese have got hold of Boris one way or another, and the globalists who are working with the Chinese communists, and of course, what's his name, Mr. Vaccine, who is in with the Chinese communists. So this is the whole point, and this is what the lockdown is all about: is to destroy our economy. And they've done one lockdown. How much damage has that done? Where is all the money coming from for the 80% that the Chancellor is just doling out like confetti? Oh, and the next tranche of this money is being set up until March. So we can say for sure that they're thinking of keeping the lockdowns on and off in one form or another until March, right? So we come out of the full lockdown, in December, but we still got the regional tier system. So they're just playing around with us, they're playing around with us. And it's money is created out of thin air, but someone is supposedly lending us thin air, right? And they want their thin air back, right? So basically, and all the businesses are being destroyed. This is all the small and medium businesses are being destroyed. The big businesses and who buy their products from fucking China are the ones that are left. And this is what Sean Moon said in his sermon. He said, we might as well be shopping in Beijing. Because particularly in America, the big stores like Target and whatever else big stores they have stock their stuff with Chinese goods. And all the small mom and pop businesses, as they call them over there, are being destroyed. They're either being destroyed by the lockdown, by the regulations from their communist governors, or they're being burnt to the ground by Antifa and Black Lives Matter. So all of this is being destroyed, and then the economy, the small man's economy is being destroyed, and everyone's buying from China again. I mean, the strategy, you have to give it to them. It's bloody good strategy. China and war with America. China takes over because it destroys Jesus in America. Well, yep, this is the point. And that's why America has a constitution. And that constitution is founded on God and guns, right? This is the only hope that America has, that they have guns, right? And this is the point. No matter what happens with Trump, let's say Trump doesn't make it, right? What's going to happen? the leftist states are going to start trying to take people's guns away, right? This is Biden's big thing. I'm going to take your guns away, right? That's his famous. What's his famous line? Bingo. When they asked him, "Are you going to take people's guns away?" He said, "Bingo. Yeah, I'm going to take your fucking guns away." Right now, Americans, since all these riots, have been going out and buying guns, lots of them for the first time. Some ridiculous, tens of millions of guns have been bought since the riots. And I can guarantee you a lot of them are Democrats. So you think they've all these Democrats, they didn't vote for Biden to take their bleeding guns away. The guns are not cheap, right? So yeah, well, I'm not sure that's beyond me, Chemical, but the Americans believe it. It's a nation where a good, at least more than half of the people still believe in God, the creator of the universe, and they protect their freedom to worship the God who created the universe with their guns. This is what protects their freedoms, their liberties, and so on. And in the leftist states, if they start clamping down more lockdown, closing their churches, trying to take the guns away, these states will start to degenerate into conflict because these people are not going to give away their guns. And so, eventually we will see what might well happen. Yes, okay, Chemical. I'm sure you do. Yeah. But I believe that Trump will prevail. This man doesn't contemplate losing, and the Democrats' victory is a mirage. It's a smokescreen. It's a mirage. It's not real. And what they want to try and do, obviously, they prepared. They put all these people out on the street. We've got a photo of what the White House looks like, and right now, and outside the White House is just hundreds of Antifa type people with signs saying "you're fired," and every leftist kind of sign that you can imagine. They have pledged that they will surround the White House, and what the leftists intend to do is say Trump is not leaving. Biden has won, Trump is not leaving, and eventually they will try and attack the White House itself and drag the bastard out. This is what they want. A French Revolution. And this is part of it. It's part of it. So, and then the other, but there are, so that this is their plan. And to attack state capitol buildings in other states. And I saw another tweet today where the left will also turn on each other, because I saw another tweet today, which is someone from the hard left, or basically from Bernie Sanders' group, saying, when Biden gets in, then we've got to turn and attack Biden, right? And this is the far left attacking the left. So it's going to be chaos. It's going to be mental, and that's the situation in America. Well, what a good development here. I don't know if people have seen that the vets are back, and we've seen a video put out by I forget people's names. I'm getting old. My brain doesn't work. It never was very good. What's his name, Jamie? Dean, yeah, Dean. So Dean Cumberbatch, she put out a video. There's a whole bunch of them. They're out in the fields,
I don't know what they're doing. Are they training, preparing? But the vets are back. There's been a big silence, and we've heard nothing. We've heard nothing from Simon Beam. We've heard nothing from Dean Cumberbatch. But they're back. We don't know what their plans are. And so when we were in Nottingham, Jamie gave that great speech. I'm sure you've all seen it. We stand with the vets, and the vets have been shafted by the government as well. Yeah, so we'll see how that develops. Yeah, yeah. So we stand with the vets, and we imagine that they've got plans as well. So we also look forward to all the nationalist groups now. Farage now takes up the mantle because our nation's destiny is with the United States of America under Trump, right? Now I'm going on the faith that Trump will, yeah, all right, that Trump will overcome, and there's determination in his camp. They're not going to let this down. We've seen demonstrations all across America by Trump supporters. We've seen Alex Jones. He's been out there like a rebel leader, right? Encouraging everyone to stay strong, to stay faithful, not be discouraged, because this is not going away. So there is a resistance because what the Democrats are doing is fake. It's a lie. They have not won this election, right? This is a deception. Like everything that they've done is a complete fake and deception. And so Trump is the legitimate president of the United States of America. So the American people who voted for him cannot lie down and let the fakery take over. So yeah, thanks, Jamie. I appreciate that. Yeah. So our future lies with America under Trump, or the patriots, in America, and the left has to be crushed. The communists have to be crushed. Actually, two mistakes took place in the 20th century. One was after the Second World War, we didn't destroy Stalin and the communists. At Yalta, we divided East and Western Europe. We gave away the communists. We gave Poland away. Churchill gave Poland away. The Poles hate Churchill, right? As we went to war because of Poland. Well, as our treaty with Poland, if you get attacked, we're gonna save you. So we saved them from one bastard, and we gave them away to another bastard, right? And they fought in the Battle of Britain. Their pilots fought the Battle of Britain. They saved our country, and then we gave it away because Churchill couldn't hold his drink, because you don't get into a drinking competition with a Russian, right? And the Russians, they know negotiations. You do it with drink, right? And so that was a massive mistake. General Patton, he wanted to go in and keep going and destroy the Russians, but yes, and Churchill's grandchildren owned Serco. That's another story. So and then the other thing was the Korean War, right? So MacArthur, when they had the landing at Incheon, they drove the North Koreans up to the Yalu River, and beyond the Yalu River is just a few miles beyond the Yalu River is the border with China, right? Now, the Chinese put out a warning. They said if you go beyond the Yalu River, we will join the Korean War. So, but Patton, he won. Well, I'm sorry, my history is a bit fuzzy now. I can't remember exactly how it went. But the main point is that MacArthur wanted to carry on, and he wanted to destroy the Chinese communists. Right? And if we had destroyed the Chinese communists, we wouldn't have the problem that we have today. I mean, it wouldn't have been nice. It would have been really, really nasty. There's no getting away from that. But what has happened, what's happened with communism since the end of the Second World War and the Korean War, the suffering that they have created in Asia, China, and now we see it. America is fighting it on home ground, and we are fighting it on home ground. That struggle with communism is here with us now. We are fighting communism. We're fighting communists. I mean, our whole nation has been infiltrated by communists. We have been taken, more or less, almost totally, not quite. We're hanging on by our fingernails. We thought Dominic Cummings and Johnson were going to turn it around. So, yeah, there won't be a war if no one shows up. That's a good point, Chemical. We're fighting communism and capitalism. Well, we're fighting communism and globalism. Capitalism is a word that was really popularized by Karl Marx. Not invented, but certainly popularized by Karl Marx. It's really a socialist word. It's a communist word. I mean, free enterprise is commerce. Free enterprise, that's the system that we have. Free enterprise. And yes, communism is Lucifer. Absolutely right, Chemical Liquor. It is Lucifer because Marx, the thing that he hated more than anything else was God. You go study Karl Marx's poetry. Anyone go on the internet, look up Karl Marx's poetry and realize what a twisted, evil fucking bastard he was. He hated, I don't know what happened to him, but he was okay. And then one day something happened in his life and he turned and he suddenly made it his mission to destroy faith, to destroy the existence of God on the earth. That became his all consuming desire. And the whole communist ideology is just an excuse for destroying God. So that's what it's all about. Sheffield Council tried telling us not to have bonfires on the 5th. I tweeted them back and called them a communist council. That soon changed their mind. Excellent. That's very good. Exactly. Mind their own bloody business. If you want to have a bonfire, have a bonfire. So, yeah. Well, of course, we had no fireworks in my area. Usually, there's always fireworks. Nobody was setting off fireworks. Was it the other on the 5th in my area? It's like everyone's depressed. Everyone's given up, right? I mean, usually we've got the big, massive Indian temple near where I live, near where I work. So usually they have Diwali, and they usually have fireworks as well. It's just a couple of days, isn't it, before fireworks night. They didn't even do it. Even not Muslims, the Hindus are depressed as well, right? Everyone's depressed because Johnson has become this bizarre communist leader. And I've got a left-wing friend who's writing. He's always writing to me, telling me how terrible Trump is, right? I sent him a long letter back today explaining why he's wrong. He's a good fellow. We went to school together, and he's a good buddy. He would always come and help me, but he's very left wing. How Kamala? Oh yes, Kamala Harris. How she cheated her Attorney General leadership challenge in California. Now Kamala Harris. Now we have. This is it. Kamala Harris, I forget which year it was. It was about 12 years ago, basically. She ran to be Attorney General in California. And she's a long history in law. And she was a Democrat candidate to be the Attorney General. Now, she was endorsed by, guess who? Pelosi. Yes, Pelosi and I forget who it was. What's her name? What's her name? Jamie, the senator, the senator from California. The one who's in with the Chinese, Dianne Feinstein. So listen to this, right? So Kamala Harris, 12 years ago, she wants to be the Attorney General for California. Guess who endorses her? Dianne Feinstein, the Chinese traitor. Dianne Feinstein is China's #1 asset. She and her husband have been colluding with the Chinese for 40 years. For 40 years, right? Dianne Feinstein, she is the biggest traitor probably in America, in American history, right? She and her husband has made millions and millions in China, right? Doing business. She's a bit like Biden's son. Dianne Feinstein's been going to China for 40 years, and she always takes her husband. She goes there for political purposes. Her husband goes there for business. It made millions. And Dianne Feinstein got very, very close with the high leadership in China, and even up to the vice president or premier, I can't remember his name, of China. I mean, she was one person ahead, step from the top, from the very, very top, and they became great mates, right? And they used to invite him over, and he used to eat dinner in their house, right? This is the second in command of the Chinese, in the Chinese Communist Party. And we're talking 40 years ago, right? Anyway, they are invited many times. She goes over there, and one time they're invited for dinner, her and her husband. Guess where their dinner is? Not a posh restaurant, not even, the premier's or vice premier's house. Oh no, where do they have dinner? They have dinner in the house where Chairman Mao lived, right? Oh, not only do they have dinner, they're not in the dining room, in the room where Chairman Mao died. They have dinner in the room where Chairman Mao died. This is like a satanic ritual, right? This is Dianne Feinstein. Dianne Feinstein, also, she's the one that lobbied hard to get China most favored nation status, which is in America, which is a stepping stone to join the World Trade Organization, which is how China then began to develop and overtake America. So she is China's #1 asset in America. So So Kamala Harris, right? She runs for Attorney General, California. She's endorsed by traitor Dianne Feinstein and Pelosi, Speaker of the House. These two people, they endorse her, right? Now, she runs against a Republican. Right? Now, I can't remember his name because he's history, mate. He's history. Now, throughout the race, he is leading. He's leading the race by quite a lot. But when the election is finished, there's a long period where, guess what? They're counting mail-in ballots. They're counting mail-in ballots, and this counting goes on for a long time until eventually they've got more votes than he has, even though he was leading by a large margin. And so eventually he concedes, and she becomes Attorney General. Doesn't that sound like a familiar story? So Pelosi and Kamala Harris have formed. They've done this before. What they're doing to Trump, they've already done successfully in the past, except this time they're doing it on a much bigger scale. So this is the story that Jamie wanted me to share with you just now. I mean, to me, I made a meme about this. I've been putting it out on Twitter all day long. So yeah. What else? We must all learn how the traitors of the West are now. They're all finished. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not with that one. So anyway, what they're trying to pull off is a repeat of the California Attorney General race. This is where they learned the trick. This is where they plied their plied their trade. And of course, Julie Giuliani was saying today in the press release that these Democrat states have been Democrat for years, 40 years or more, 60 years. And of course, when the Democrats are in government, they run the electoral processes. They run all the systems. So they're just corrupt. And they can cheat at will. No one's really notices because they're in charge of everything. So they are cheating machines. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, Alith is up. Alith is our technical genius. She is an unbelievable technical genius, right? So I was showing her a couple of things, thinking I was the big teacher, right? And then a week later, she's doing these amazing things. I'm asking her, how did you do that? She's a genius. Oh, don't tell her, okay? Or she'll get a big head, right? So yeah, that is that's something. This girl's she's gonna excel. As long as she listens to her dad, you've got to listen to your dad, don't you? I mean, so what else have we got to say, really? I didn't think I would last this long, to be honest. I thought I'd be gone in 10 minutes. Yeah, but everyone's great here on because Jamie's invested a lot in everybody, and we're all grateful because Jamie's a smart dude. Thanks. Thanks can't be asked. I'm going to have to do more homework to do this kind of thing. Ah, scared now. Alith is about. Don't worry. Patriotic twin, give me moderator now. Oh, I don't know. How do I do that? What do I do? Oh, I see. There's a thing here. Remove. Add moderator. Patriotic Twins UK is now a moderator. I've got it. I've got it. I've got it, Jesus. He is now a moderator. Um, um, yeah, I know. Well, we have the tradition of free speech unless you unless you're a wanker, then you get free speech. I've got it. I've got it. I've done it. There you are. You've got the spanner. You've got the spanner, Jamie. You got it. I know you've always been a bit of a spanner. Jamie's the new Jesus. Well, it's the second coming. Did you know the second coming is not Jesus? The second coming is someone else, right? But a lot of people think Jesus is the same Jesus coming on the clouds, but it's not. It says in the book of Revelations that he will have a new name written on his thigh. So it's not the same man. I know that sounds like blasphemy, but actually that is the case. Just got to read it in the book. It's in Revelations. So what's this election video? So I click on here. Oh yeah. That's right. So now because the left think they've won, they're going to go after the Trump people. I mean, this is communist. This is communist all over. The bastards, right? And I've even seen on Twitter where people in their local neighborhoods, people who have Trump signs, right? Their leftist neighbors have said, we've made a note of you. Better watch out. Your house might get burned down. Things like this. These people are evil. They're possessed with an evil spirit. Alif can't get the memes. Well, I emailed you. I emailed it to you, so you've got it in your email. What chemical? What are you talking about? Oh, no, chemical. I mean, listen. Bad habits, Downing Street flat. He did not believe President Trump's claims of victory. Well, Johnson, what's wrong with that man? There aren't any words to say. Yes, that's right. That's right. He did. We are free speech and proud. We use the spanner to give links, not kick people out. So, chemical, in your opinion, you know, when or how long has Boris been in the spell, so to speak? Carrie Johnson. So Jamie, Carrie Simmons has split with Johnson. This is, or he split with her. Which way around? Right, right. Okay, chemical. Since he was in university. So basically, he's always been a liberal. So until we've got a proper conservative or right wing government, I mean, we this is why we Farage has to take seats. We have to have to the right of the conservatives. We have to get rid of the soft conservatives, and some other small right wing parties have to get a few seats. Otherwise, we can't stop immigration. We can't do anything. Probably he's got the bloodline to the 13 families. Well, we know he's got Turkish blood. We know that. A liberal conservative, yeah. Yes, yes. Bloodline, lineage. Lineage is what it's all about. I'm glad you brought that up, Chemical. The bloodlines are important. And what we're looking at is satanic bloodlines. Satanic bloodlines. Is it, there's 13 families? Is that correct? And Carrie was chosen as the seductress of the Rothschilds. Right, this is very, very interesting. The 13 families, because because a lot of people don't realize what the Bible is about. The Bible is actually about bloodlines. The Bible is about the restoration of the lineage. Um, but that's a whole nother story. So you've got satanic bloodlines, but you've also got the history of the restoration and the cleansing of the bloodlines in order to establish the messianic bloodline, which is a thing that a lot of people don't know about. But there's some very, very interesting stories in the Bible about what happens in the womb, stories of twins who fight in the womb. This is to do with the restoration of the bloodline. But that's a whole story. I'll be working on that and sharing some of that in the future. Now that I know that I can go online, oh my God, this is terrible. Jamie, what have you done to me? No, Steve, they didn't write the Bible to control us. They wrote the Bible, or they didn't. They wrote the Bible to liberate us in order. Well, we have to control ourselves according to God's words, because the universe is, if God exists, that is, if you believe that God exists, God had created the world according to principles, physical, scientific principles and moral principles, and so liberation comes from that. Was you've got to tell your kids, how to not to fall down the stairs, but to them that might sound like a restriction, but that's a whole nother topic. No way, Steve. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. Listen, anyway, yeah, no, I won't be online every night, that's for sure. Oh, Steve, man, you have you. What do you mean you don't know what to trust? You have to trust in God's providence, and you can trust. You can trust Trump because he's not a globalist. Of course, everyone can go wrong. Trump can go wrong. They can all go wrong. Everyone can start right and end up wrong. And some people can start off wrong and end up right. This is the great thing about human beings having their own, what's the word? Agency, right? There is right and there is wrong. There is good and there is evil. We have our own agency and we can go in either direction. So, oh, people, man, you can talk away. I haven't got a lot to say. I'm going. I'm going to leave you. I have to leave you. Jamie, do you have something more to say? Because I'm a little bit overdosed, as people don't know that I am on quite a lot of medication, and sometimes I get a bit overdosed. I can only see through one eye at the moment. Um, oh, Steve, man, what do you mean you've got nowhere to go? Yeah, it is. It is. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, if I prepared more, I mean, Jamie usually prepares and he's got a lot of stuff to say, and I can do that. What's the Vigano letter, Dawn? Oh, okay, Archbishop Vigano. Yeah, I heard something about that. Um, I can't remember the detail of it. I've got. I mean, I've got an interesting story. There was a video a story I heard. It was a video I saw. Now I don't know if I remember the detail of it about the prophecy about Trump. And there was a fellow in Rome who prophesied, telling about the Pope and the Vatican being evil. So Vigano wrote to Trump and told him that the Pope and the Vatican was evil, yeah? I mean, I imagine that Trump could probably have worked that out for himself. He's got an eye for evil and hypocrisy and so on. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Yeah. Well, I heard the story about that there was a prophecy about Trump. There was a fellow in Rome. Now, this was a British veteran after the Second World War. He went to Rome and he spent his life in prayer. And what he used to do is in Rome, there are lots of churches, and then you can go from the services, the masses are timed so that you can finish one mass and walk to the next church just when the next mass is starting. And what this guy used to do, he spent his whole life going from mass to mass or around Rome. And his life was a life of prayer. And there was an American fellow who went to Rome for the inauguration, not of this Pope, but the Pope before, the last Pope. And he met this, he was standing in the square, and there was this fellow was standing next to him. And they started chatting, and they became friends. And this fellow told him that he'd had a vision. And he had a vision that there was a man in America whose name was Donald Trump, who was going to save America. And the American fellow, he looked at me, he said, "Are you joking?" Because at that time, Donald Trump was a playboy, businessman. He was very famous already by that time, but he wasn't considered a politician. He wasn't considered a future savior of America, that's for sure. And the guy said, "Are you kidding me? Do you know who Donald Trump is?" And the guy said, "No, I just had this revelation that a fellow called Donald Trump is going to save America." And so the guy just looked at him and said, "You must be crazy. But anyway, if you say so." And what this man did was he received this revelation, and there's a tradition in the Vatican once a year that there's a place where you put bricks. They open this gate up once a year, and you put a brick and you put your prayer on the brick, and you put it in there, and they make a kind of wall. So this guy, he put Donald Trump's name on it and put the brick in there. And so the whole point is that place is where masses are said. So anything that's in that brick wall will have prayers over it for a year, right? And so this is what the guy did. So that's an interesting story about prophecy about Donald Trump. So just wanted to share that. Oh, right. The Proud Boys are on high alert. Well, good. Absolutely. And there are many other militias. It's not just the Proud Boys. There's something like 500 militias in America. And they're going to need to be on alert because someone's going to need to defend the White House because they're going to go for it. These people are going to go for the White House. There's no doubt about this. So if the Proud Boys are on alert, it's not going to be stand back and stand down. It's going to be, stand forward and get moving. And let's hope the Hells Angels get going as well. So yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, the this is what the left have planned. They literally have a plan. They literally have a plan to take the White House. I mean, literally. I mean, I've seen the documentation. We've seen we've seen videos of the Zoom calls where these people are talking about it. They literally want, if Trump doesn't go when they want him to go, they want to attack the White House and do a revolution like the bleeding French Revolution. And that can't happen. It just can't happen. Going for people that supported Trump. We've already talked about that. Uh, so, well, anyway, we're coming up. Give it a, I don't think the Dems. I mean, if they attack, they won't just spontaneously attack the White House or other federal buildings in America. I mean, they will be given the word. When the Dems feel that, when they realize that they're going to lose, that's when they're going to go for it. The military, well, we don't know. We know that some generals are not on Trump's team, but there's something called TIP. It's called the Transition Integrity Project. Now, any of you go and search the Transition Integrity Project, and Breitbart did a good article on it. The Transition Integrity Project is in fact a bunch of people who are supposed to be bipartisan, who have set up different scenarios of what could happen if Trump doesn't leave on his own accord. How are we going to deal with this, right? And or what the different scenarios are going to be on the different, results of the election. But these people, the woman who's one of the co-founders of the TIP is she's a radical leftist Democrat who was one of the people who was very her idea was she I think she was involved in the impeachment or the strategy behind the impeachment. I don't know, but they are supposedly bringing in bipartisan people from all walks of life, academics, and even the military. Right? What do we do if Trump doesn't go, or whatever? So there are generals who have been brought in on the TIP. You see. So remember that Obama got rid of a lot of the very good generals when he was in power. That they had, America, the army had some great generals, experienced, loyal, patriotic, and Obama fired a lot of them. Nobody knew why. He just suddenly fired, or over a period of time, he fired generals. There was no reason, and so then you have to wonder. Okay, obviously he replaced them. So who did he replace them with? So this is a question. It's a very, very good question. how loyal is the military? Well, it always comes down to the generals, not the soldiers. Soldiers follow orders. So the one thing that we can say is the police are on Trump's side, and they're all armed, and they've all got vehicles. The police are sworn to uphold the Constitution. So if a governor or a mayor or someone says do this and they perceive it as unconstitutional, they're not bound to, and they will say no, we won't uphold that law. So the police are all across the country on Trump's side. That's for sure. Um, Biden said he wants the middle class to be great again. Yeah, exactly. Boris has legitimized a man chosen by the media, and a man who is a dirty, rotten, useless, horrible man. I mean the fact that Boris could even consider. I mean, there really aren't any words. There are no words. There's just no words you can say. We tried to give Boris the benefit of the doubt for a long time. We stood by him, even when people were saying, no, he's horrible, he's a traitor and all that. We said, no, he's negotiating Brexit. If he's taking us to Brexit, we'll stand behind him. But, at the end of the day, it turns out that he is what everyone said he was. Well, Dawn, we stood behind Boris because of Brexit, and we had to stand behind someone who would. Boris has, to be fair, Boris has been smart, and he has taken. He's changed the leaving agreement. His move on the internal markets bill with Northern Ireland was a masterstroke. And he's negotiated with Frost, using Frost. He's negotiated hard with the EU. So there aren't many people that could have really done that, because he's got the experience. He knows what the EU is, and we've now come to learn that basically the globalists have said, okay, the EU is the globalist project, but they've realized that the EU is finished. So they've ditched the EU. And so, they probably told Boris, you can be, a mini king of the world. We've given up on the EU. There's still a massive loss to the globalists. They are actually on plan B or plan C. You know, uh, yeah. Anyway, people, I think my time is up. I'm sorry that I can't do the marathons, and it's been absolutely fabulous to see you all here and with Jamie. And we're so sorry that Jamie's channel is gone. It's so depressing. It's horrible. It's really, really horrible. Um, and yeah, but this is the war that we're fighting. We knew it. We knew it. Jamie said it. I knew it, and we were warned that the censorship would get more. And I thought there might even be a total social media blackout. At the election, and there still might be, if when things comes to a big crunch. they might switch off all of the social media, all of the big, and so that we can't communicate. This is why we've moved on to the other. I'm on Gab, Jamie's on Gab. We've opened accounts on BitChute and brand YouTube, because we don't know what's going to happen. And I tell you what, after this, when it's all over, Trump's going to ditch Twitter. We're all going to ditch Twitter. They'll lose millions of people. Yeah, yeah, I mean, this is, actually exposing the globalists. The interesting thing about this whole situation is that the globalists, the whole globalist plan was for Agenda 2030, not 2020. And their original plan was to take America, that in 2016, Hillary Clinton was going to get in, that she would be there for 2 terms, right? What would that take us up to? I can't do maths, right? 2016. So that would be 2020, 2024, right? So that would be 2 terms of Hillary. They would slowly introduce more socialism and more gun control. They would wean Americans off of their guns step by step. The new generation, the young people, they would take away the Second Amendment. Then America would be like the underbelly of a soft turtle or something. That the Taikons would literally be able to walk in there if they wanted to. This was the whole plan. This is why losing Hillary was a disaster of disasters for the globalists. That they never imagined that Trump would win, and so Trump coming in utterly and totally disrupt. This is why they've had no other priority other than get rid of Trump. They just think, well, he's one geezer, get rid of him, and we'll just carry on, right? But this one geezer has not been easy to remove. And of course, Brexit also was a massive setback for them. So this is I forgot why I was saying that. Oh yes, so exposing the globalists. So when you come back so they released they to get rid of Trump and stop Brexit, they released the virus primarily, right? So then we went into the lockdown. The first 3 months of lockdown, what did everybody do? They spent their time on the internet watching conspiracy theories that lots of people would never have watched before. And then everybody started to learn about the globalists, the Satanists, and all of these things that people would never have thought about before. So the whole world got red pilled whilst they were locked up, and the globalists were exposed. So this is an amazing thing. What's Israel's prime minister had to say about Biden? I don't know. Does anybody know? What does Israel's prime minister said? Anybody know about that? Look around, whoever hasn't got a mask on. Yes, there you go. There you go. See, the prime minister's right. Israeli prime minister's right. So now you see that he's not on the globalist side. Well, well, chemical. If he's saying that if Biden wins, they're gonna Israeli minister warns of war if Biden wins, right? So he means he wants Trump. Well, I mean, I'm not getting to get into the Israel question. I mean, Jamie and I myself have had lots of discussions about this, and I don't think it's a simple. It's a simple. Israel is a mix of a. I mean, listen. I mean, I know that the government comes from Mossad, and they're a bunch of terrorists. We know this, okay? So I'm not disputing that issue. But Israel is a mixture of there are a mixture of factions in Israel. They're not. It's not a unified entity. So and they're all competing with each other. So, but that's I'm not going to get into that issue. It's complex. I don't think it's a simple thing. Uh, there are various elements. Guns are pointing at each other in the US now. It's a tinderbox chamber being stocked up, ready for another internal war in the US. Do you think this could be deliberate, Jamie? Well, that's a question for Jamie. I've got a view on that, Tara. uh, I mean, the situation in America is China's strategy of divide and conquer. You know, um, China's purpose is to take America. The Chinese want America. The Chinese want America's land for themselves. What makes us great, though, Jamie? Yeah, our language is good, but we do have a great language, Chemical. It's absolutely true. But it's interesting. Um, our language is very good for technical matters. It's precise. Our language is very precise. But if you, I studied Korean a little bit, and Korean is a very good language as well, but it's very different from ours, and it talks about it. It expresses emotion, realms of the heart, uh, in a way that our language doesn't. So I don't know if there's one absolutely superior language, because different languages have different qualities. But our language is a very, very good language. Yeah, I do agree with you. Yes, Tara, I agree with that as well. Our Christian faith is so central. It's not, and the Christian faith is not just about, from Jesus till now. It's also based on what went before. The Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments are the only basis to create a stable society. Some people would say, "Oh no, it's," but actually it is. Once you leave a foundation of clear and absolute values, you go into the realm of relativism and self-enlightenment, and then you end up with cultural Marxism, and your society falls apart. So, so I agree with Tara on there. And it's our Christianity is what the communists and the Muslims hate more than anything else. Yeah, you're right, Chemical, but that's because they got their guns taken away from them by their government. Um, and, Christianity is not pacifism, which is the problem of modern Christianity. This is why Jamie and I have been looking at Sean Moon. And this is what the American Christianity is based on. You protect your faith with the gun, and you protect yourself from your own government, and you protect your family, and you protect your church, and you protect your community, because you have, and this is the rod of iron. The rod of iron. What is the rod of iron? It's the AR-15, right? The rod of iron. And the crown. The crown is the crown of Christ. It's the crown of we are all kings and queens, as God gave man dominion over the earth. And this is what this is about, you see? And that's what America is rooted in. The founding fathers who believed that humans were created free by their creator, and they gave their citizens the right to defend it. And so the problem is that modern Christianity is turned into a hippie culture. Jesus was a long-haired hippie, and it's all peace and love. No, it's not all peace and love. You hate evil, and if you don't strike first, but if you get struck, you defend your family, you defend your fellow from an uncontrolled evil. If any of you seen the video that Jamie and I put up, which was the Rod of Iron Festival, you heard the stories of the fellow who his church was attacked by a gunman, and he heard about it, and so he ran out of his house with his gun, and he saw the fella, and he chased him, and he shot the geezer down. He saved lots of lives, and people think, oh, why do we need to have guns? Because there are evil people. But the evil people are really the smallest number. More than 90% of people are good. But we have to take life and death in our hands. We have to be responsible for life and death. And it's if we just think, oh, we will let someone else do it, I'll wait for the police to come. You'll be dead by then, or your family will be dead. And Jesus was not a pacifist. This is why Christianity has become useless. They can't do anything. They can't get involved with anything. And turning the other cheek, it's one thing on a personal level. You don't lash out against people, and you maintain a humble spirit, but you don't allow evil to walk the land. And Jamie said it. I'm sure you've all heard Jamie say it many times. Jesus' last instructions to his disciples was to sell your cloak. If you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. Jesus was not a pacifist. So this is why we're interested in what Sean Moon is talking about, because he's reawakening this spirit in America and in Christianity in particular. He's telling them, he's shaking them. He's saying, wake up, wake up. You Christians have become a sloppy bunch of self-centered people who just want to be saved for your own sake, but you don't want to stand up for your community. This is a socialist Christianity. No. And then Sean Moon's brother owns a gun factory, for Christ's sake. So this is the new Christianity. This is the Christianity that takes responsibility and establishes the kingdom on earth, not waiting to go flying up to heaven for your own personal salvation. And this is what's wrong with Christianity today. And it needs to be, we need to reawaken. I mean, the Christians in the old days went off to fight the Crusades. They went off with a sword in their hand and the cross of St. George on their shields to fight the Muslims. Yeah, and so on. But we've just become a weak-minded bunch of, wastrels. Yeah, he wears in America, in the Second Amendment community in America, they call him King Bullethead. Yeah, and a gold-plated AR-15. Yes, Tara, it is a spiritual war, but it manifests on the physical plane as well. The spirit and the body are two elements of the same thing. You have a spirit and you have a body. They're two elements of the same thing. And God created the mind and the body, the spirit and the body. And evil stalks the earth. And when every human being on the planet is able to hold a rod of iron, the weapon that holds life and death in its hand, and takes responsibility in a Christian mentality, then evil will be contained. The governments will be contained because they can't do what they want. In America, you see that now taking place. You see some of the states trying to pass laws to control people and dominate people, and Americans are coming out and saying, no, we're not having that. Sorry. You want to come? You want to do this to me? Come and get me. You know, you want to come knock down my house or come and get me. You're going to pay a price for it. This is what they say to their own state legislators who overstep the mark and try and take away people's freedoms, because Americans are used to that. They are born with it. It's in the Constitution, their Second Amendment. It's the most, second most important thing. The right to defend yourself and your family and your nation from enemies internal and external. So, yeah. So that's right. Fighting communism. We are fighting communism. And communism is the enemy of mankind because it's the enemy of God. It's the enemy of mankind. It makes us animals. Communists makes us animals. We are animals plus. We got some extra thing there. This extra little thing that they don't have. Animals are lovely. We love them. They're clever. They're intelligent, on different levels. I mean, how intelligent is a snail? I don't really know. But we know that an orangutan is very intelligent, right? But we have something plus. And what is the thing that we have plus? And all the anthropologists will tell you, right? I'll tell you what our plus is. Oh, wow. I can't find it right now. But our plus is our ability to have tools. And of course, the greatest tool we have is the weapon, right? The weapon. Because physically, we're not very strong. When you go out into the animal kingdom, you go out in the jungle, you're going to be eaten by a lion, you're going to be wrapped around by a snake. We are physically weak. But what makes us strong is the fact that we have tools. And one of those tools is the weapon through which we defend ourselves and through which we gain food. Right? The weapon. The weapon is what differentiates us, or our ability to have the weapon. Now, of course, if we're evil, we turn the weapon on each other. That's not good. But the weapon is a neutral thing. It allows us to have dominion. And so that is, and the fact that you are not allowed to have the weapon means you are disenfranchised. That someone in the government says, no, you are not trustworthy. We cannot trust you with the weapon. So we will disenfranchise you. You will not be able to defend yourself. We will not be able to defend your family. You will not be able to defend your property. You'll just have to wait till the police arrive. And you'll be dead by then, or your spouse will be dead, or your children will be dead, or your neighbor will be dead by the time the bleeding police arrive, right? So the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, is not just an American right, it's a human right. But you have to have the right culture, because if you don't have the culture, then yes, the weapons can cause a lot of problems in a society. But the problems are not the weapon itself, the problems are us. Last Christian country left on this earth. The globalists had to cheat the election to get Creepy Joe in. It ain't over yet. That's absolutely right. America is the last stand of Christianity. When America goes, it's all gone. Fucked and gone. So the fact that our prime minister, it shows that he's either blackmailed, controlled, he's evil. Who knows? But the fact is that he's on the enemy side now. And we are lucky we have Farage. I know that, some people don't like Farage, but, he's there with Trump, and he's a nationalist. I'm not 100% with his ideology. I'm not a libertarian because I'm in a kind of libertarian, but I'm a libertarian. But I believe that Christianity is important. So I don't agree with homosexuality. I don't agree with transsexualism and all of those things. It's outside of the creation. It's outside of the way things are made. It's a human construct. But so I don't think Farage is the ultimate solution for our country. But trust me, he's a lot better than what we've got. Yeah, teaches us to have empathy. It's not a weakness. Parliament is crawling with them and most other government departments, common purpose mindset, and they are doing it to our children in the schools now. Yes, Tara. They all have to go. There has to be a complete revolution. Where, first of all, we have to get the serpent from around our necks, which we're having the noose tied around our necks right now. So if you're a praying type, you better pray for Donald Trump and the American people right now. They need it. They need your prayer. And yes, Tara, you're absolutely right. And Jamie's right. America will not fall. It can't fall. They can't afford it, and they know they can't afford it. And Trump comes out on top. There'll be some struggle, but he'll manage it. And Trump's not a vindictive person. He treats his enemies fairly. If Trump doesn't come out on top, well, I could think we're going to see a period, and it might be a long period of struggle and conflict. But then the good side will come out on top. It could be months, it could be up to 7 years. I don't know. But eventually, communism will be destroyed, and America's basic original culture will be reestablished. If Trump can win now, then we don't have to go through that. Yeah. So nobody's perfect. Farage is far from perfect, but he's a lot better. And then there are other great people in this country. There are good leaders. There are good people in this country. Yes, Tara, communism self-destructs, but the problem is it always self-destructs in the end. But the suffering that it creates in the process. And communism has to be destroyed ultimately on the ideological level. You can't destroy communism by pure force, because communism is an ideology, and it grabs people by the mind, and therefore you need a counter proposal to communism. Trump can come out on top politically, through the constitution, through the electoral process, and if demonstrations need to be stopped, they can be stopped. People who have done wrong can be prosecuted and put in prison. But at the end of the day, you still have to defeat it, and you have to defeat it on the ideological level. And communism is an evil ideology, but it's based on a logical framework. Now it's a illogical logic, so to speak, but it has its logic, and that logic has to be dismantled. But you have to have something to replace it. And you have to have something that gives people ideals. Because in a way, what communism does to young people, it kind of gives them a pseudo ideal. It says, oh, look how bad the world is. Hey, look at this idea. And if you look at this idea, this is going to save you. It's going to liberate you. It's going to liberate the world. And people think, oh, yeah, that's really cool. Because all people want goodness. All people want change. They want change. So young people don't know stuff, right? So they think, oh, this is a great idea. And then they find out later that it's not. But so we have to have an ideal. We have to have a vision. We have to have a vision, and that is rooted in the family and the culture based on the family, where love is the center. But that has to be expressed in a logical manner that is understandable to people. Well, Tara, I don't know about if North Korea will survive. So listen, everybody, I have to love you and leave you because it's 2 o'clock, way past my bedtime. Jamie's a night owl. I'm definitely not. Usually midnight is my cut-off time. So, I know that you're all yearning for for a place to be. But I am going to leave you, and we'll sort it out. So Jamie's with you every day or whenever he does it. We'll have it sorted out. I'll try and do stuff as much as I can. You can't find Jamie's channel on BitChute. Yeah, actually, that's true. I know he's signed up for it. Where's your channel, Jamie? You did sign up. Thanks, Carbios. That's really kind of you. I appreciate that. And so, God bless everybody. God bless Donald Trump. God bless America. And God bless the United Kingdom. Thank you very much. This is me. Over and out. Bye. Okay.